You can see the screen. Okay, resolving the Siddhantic and Puranic. Thank you very much, Akhanati Prabhu, and of course Kunal and Brahmatirtha, and naturally all the organizers, and especially Hirdan Maharaj for being such a enthusiastic patron of the BIHS here. Okay, resolving the Siddhantic and Puranic universes was the title suggested for this program, this talk, and it's really focusing on this text here. This was you can get it online now. Actually, it's free today for everybody who is attending this conference. You can scan me. Just scan that. It'll take you right to the Amazon page, or otherwise type in Vedic Cosmography in Modern Context, Bhaktivedanta Institute, take you to that page. And you can certainly read the front matter, table of contents, intro, so on. But today you can read the whole thing, and perhaps you can even download it. So that was, oopsie daisy, that was an early edition of it, the manuscript. And I'm clicking here. Okay, and while you're on Amazon, there's a couple other books you might want to check out. These are journals, compilations of various presentations at BIHS events. Nice. Purvapaksha is another term referring to this ancient tradition of disciplined discourse within the context of the Sanskrit culture of South of Asia, of the Indian subcontinent. We have 2 volumes out. Something to check out. Let me try this button. Oh, here we go. And lo and behold, we put these up for availability on Amazon there, and they were #1. I don't know how that's possible, but Krishna is amazing. He can thread an elephant through the eye of a needle, I've been told. But apparently there's an audience out there for this thing. There's also some front matter there you can check out explaining the scope of the project. So let's get into our book. So this will be the print edition. We're working on the print edition. What's on Amazon now is the Kindle edition, the ebook. And we're still, that's the book, but we're still tightening it up, proofreading and, layout, design, and so forth. But so the print edition is coming out soon. Here's the cover. We have proof copies, if you can see me. That's one of the copies. We're going through it. We make them out in both color and black and white. Back it up, please. All right. So Vedic Cosmography in a Modern Context. The title is in part a deference to Sariputta and his work, Vedic Cosmography and Astronomy. And hold on, my clock. Here we go. My timer is off on my covered up by Zoom. All right, Vedic Cosmography and Astronomy. Actually, Tavrapani, when he read a review manuscript, he mentioned that. It seemed like it was a continuation of that body of analysis. So we're talking about this cosmography. Again, we're using the term Vedic to refer to that Sanskrit culture of the Indian subcontinent. And we're bringing it into a modern context. What's the discussion now? Now, the term Varota Parihara revisited in the sub heading here. That's a Sanskrit term referring to this long discussion. The idea that the observable, mathematically quantified, whatever's up there in the night sky and day sky, that doesn't seem to correspond cleanly with the descriptions in the Puranas. And some of the leading figures in the history of astronomy and mathematics come out of the South Asian context. So they were well aware that there was this dynamic tension between the empirical view and the Shastric presentation in the Puranas. And they had a long discussion of this going back thousands of years. So we're revisiting this discussion. There's nothing new here under the sun, or the night sky either, for that matter. And so we're revisiting this ancient tradition of discourse. It's not modern science and the Puranas. It's not modern science and ancient cosmology. The actual discussion about the dynamic tension, the apparent tension between observable astronomy and the Puranic narrative is as ancient as the culture itself. It's certainly from a historical context. And both observable astronomy is integral to this, using the term Vedic culture. They were doing birth charts. They're doing religious rituals, need exact times and dates. It's all done through astronomy. Agriculture, administrative duties all need calendars. This is all astronomy and mathematics. Krishna and had his birth chart done by Gargamuni, according to the scriptural renditions. And Lord Chaitanya's grandfather, maternal grandfather, was a Jyotisha. He was a Sanskrit mathematical astronomer. And not only that, but our Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj was also highly recognized as an expert Jyotisha Sanskrit mathematical astronomer, as well as our rendition of the fifth canto translated to English by you know, our Prabhupada here, was he primarily based it on Bhaktisiddhanta's Bengali translation. So these two traditions are entwined intimately throughout this cultural context that we're visiting. And we got some nice reviews here. We sent it out for extensive reviewing by various ISKCON scholars. Some of them are on the back here. We'll look at that in a second. All right, just a quick point on this Avroda Parihara. The term means removal of incompatibility and reconciliation from Monia Williams. There's a couple of authors here. Suryadas from the time of Lord Chaitanya did a study of this in a chapter of his book here. And the Sanskrit title of this chapter is Jyotisha Shastra Purana Viroda Parihara, which translates, removing the contradiction between observable astronomy, Jyotisha Shastra, and the Puranic narrative. There's another example. We have got to stop touching the mouse. Kevalaram Jyotishara. He was the chief astronomer for Maharaj Jai Singh, who did a lot of astronomy. And he was a great patron of the Vaishnava religion and tradition, as well as science here, as we'll see in a second. And his title of his entire book was Bhagavat Jyotishar Shor Bhugola Viroda Parihara, removal of the disagreement between the Bhagavat Purana and observable astronomy concerning the sphere of the earth. So again, the point taken here is these issues were well known throughout the tradition. We have texts going back to, full texts going back to Aryabhata, late antiquity, and these texts are referring back to an even more ancient tradition, so on. Okay, so Keval Ram, he was working for Jai Singh, great patron of Vaishnav culture and the sciences, and Jai Singh built a number of observable naked eye, because they had the telescope, but it wasn't widely distributed in India. A flip cart wasn't carrying it at the time. And so they did naked eye observatories to make it more facilitating, did it all over India. Here's a few images of a few and the map. The one was in Mathura. That's the only one no longer extant, but Delhi and Jaipur were the most sophisticated ones. Here's a picture of the one in Delhi. It's still there. Some of this instrumentation was cutting edge at the time. All right, what do we got here? So we had a few, and again, this Vaishnavism is really entwined in all this. The dynamic tension between observable astronomy and the Puranic narrative. Here's a few of the reviews here from our people. Krishna Kshetra Maharaj here, Kenneth Alpi. I thought he did the forward as well. So I thought he really got a good grasp on what the scope of the project is. We're not trying to find this definitive resolution or harmonization of this long discussion. We're not trying to find 6 sound bites, plaster it on wherever it gets plastered, and everybody march to that. We're trying to bring up the complexity, the maturity of this narrative, and bring it to our context in time. Rather, it aims to bring together these varied accounts, the Sanskrit commentarial exegesis, and so on and so forth between these traditions within the broader Vedic experience. And what emerges from this assembly of resources, a highly valuable knowledge base for anyone who intends to seriously delve further into the subject. So I thought that kind of nailed it, what we're aiming for. Better I can say myself. Another review we got from Edward Bryant, known to us more as Advaita Prabhu, Department of Religion at Rutgers. And he's talking about how this Purva Paksha, this debate, this disciplined tradition of debate has gone on for thousands of years, between observable, between the esoteric, the exoteric. Somehow the Puranas are still here, even though it's very difficult, perhaps, to see how it relates to, mathematical astronomy. So since this has been going on for thousands of years, modern cosmological Purvapakshas or modern cosmological views are just another episode in the Bhagavatam's long journey through space and time. And a volume like this indicates that the essential teachings can never be threatened by these space-time tattvas, even when we engage with integrity and robustness into these discussions, into the debate. Our HDG, our Hridaya Maharaj, Also reviewed this book on a few occasions. He came back with a very encouraging response. He felt it was a valuable approach, make a valuable contribution. Got some nice reviews from many others, too many to mention here. I have a couple more here, Radha Mohan and Krishna Dharma. All right, so what's in the book? This is the, go check it out on Amazon, get the full thing available today. And any day, the front matter is available. And of course, for $5, you can download it. And soon the print edition will be available. All right, so Guru Sadhana and Shastra, the first section, we go through it at length. Prabhupada, the Acharyas in our tradition, various sadhus identified with, this is a more internal view, a Vaishnava view, Shastric accounts. Then section 2, we look at the broader culture of the tradition, Puranic accounts and Jyotisha, this observable Sanskrit mathematical astronomy accounts, both integral to the tradition, and how they engaged and discoursed between the two for thousands of years that we have record of. And then we look at contemporary discussions, both East and West, natural science in the modern world, how they formulate their arguments, also contemporary analysis and reviews and commentaries, more recent commentaries on Puranic perspectives and the discourse between the two. And then the other half of the book is a bunch of essays, independent essays and appendices. We have a wonderful essay from Burijan giving an overview of the fifth canto. We have an excerpt from Sadhaputta Prabhu, a narration on the describing the description of the Bhumandala plane in the Puranas. We have a comprehensive collection of statements from Prabhupada on this topic. We have a little bit of an analysis here of this a very highly respected Vaishnav Sanskrit commentator on the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada refers to him, mentions him, and Sadhaputta did an analysis of him. When we go at length into some of his analysis in the fifth canto, it's very intriguing. Not that he's right, whatever that may mean in this topic, but that just some of the sophistication and maturity that's brought to bear on this subject. We did personally did a little historical analysis of historical maps of the Earth. And again, we kind of focused on the Earth a little bit since we're most familiar with that. We live on this, it seems to be right underneath our feet here. So she did an analysis with beautiful maps from history, from print, and so on, of way the views of the Earth and the cosmos have been looked at. We have a few more essays in here from some second generation folks and their experience dealing with these issues. Namamrita Green, Yogeshar's son, Brian Green's nephew, a very famed celebrity scientist. He was an airline pilot looking at the Earth from that angle. And Prahlad Griffith here, Jamastami's son. These guys are middle-aged and boring now. They used to be young and happening, but we got them before they got too old and boring. Prahlad Griffith did an experiment. That's a classic experiment referred to it by Aristotle, also in the Middle Ages by Sacrobosco. These are discussed in the book. That basically, if you're over an open body of water and it's far enough away, and he had one side of a lake in the Akal National Forest at night, and the other side of the lake, they had someone on a ladder, and they had a light up at the top of the ladder and a light on the surface, on the bottom of the ladder. And because of the curvature of the Earth, is the argument. It's like looking over a hill. You can only see one of the two lights. The one at the bottom, you can't see because it's behind the curve, and the one on the top you can see. So again, we're talking about empiricism and Shastra and different descriptions, and we're engaging it all. And then we also have a section on BBT books while Prabhupada was present, supervising the production all kinds of spheres and planets and Saturn with rings. And there's even all the kinds of print illustrations in Prabhupada's books. Also, there's actually an image of the lunar module on the cover of one of the early books that was used on the inside in later editions of Easy Journey. All right, so how did Prabhupada handle this these issues with concern to Bhaktivedanta Institute? Here's a letter to Madhavadas at the time, now Bhakti Madhava Puri. He's one of the founders of the Bhaktivedanta Institute, along with Swarup Damodar and Sariputta and R. Brahma Tirtha and others. This is in 1976, and I'm sure he was asking Prabhupada, it seems from this quote. You can get this whole letter online at Vanipedia and so forth, but I'm sure he's asking Prabhupada what to do about the fifth canto and modern science. Oh my God, I'm going bald. I'm scratching my head over this. Or maybe he didn't say that, but I can certainly relate if he did. But so Prabhupada's responding, well, after all, we are all just insignificant creatures in this universe. And who can say? We're very tiny, little insects on the universal body. So whether you take modern scientists or Sukadeva Goswami, is still all just, there's a lot going on out there. Inconceivable. It is best, whatever the case may be, it is best to keep faith in Sukadeva Goswami, because actually our only business is to go back home, back to Godhead. Something to keep in mind. It's not like when you go back to the spiritual world, they give you an entrance exam about the cosmos in the conditional realm. Or maybe they do, but I suspect they don't. So Prabhupada here is saying, so whether Sukadeva Goswami or the modern scientists are right or wrong, it is nothing interesting to us. It's not the essential point to us. Our essential point is we want to go back home, back to Godhead. And then he quotes the Bhagavad Gita, and those who worship me will live with me. So, talking about what's really driving us as Vaishnavas when we engage with this and other topics, this is the central point, and we're here to engage everything in Krishna's service. This all belongs to Krishna. All right, so you got to be careful when talking about these things, I think. A little humility. And this is from Murli Gopal got us this little cartoon here. So it's an illustration, a couple of fleas in their little forest of material enjoyment here, and they're thinking they're on a dog, and they're arguing, is it round, is it flat? Looks like they're getting ready to get in a fight over it here. They got their paws up there, or whatever those little things are. And it's round, it's flat, it's round, it's flat. And as it turns out, and how could they know? They're on a cat, they're on a dog, and it's not round or flat, but they're convinced it's got to be one or the other. So who knows what all the variables are? This is an interesting topic. It's meant to be engaged, and it's an invitation to go further into the subject. I'll end it here. Another thing to keep a little bit of humility as you enter this subject, we talk about how to reconcile it. Well, perhaps a little humility is desirable here. This is how Sukadeva Goswami introduces the whole subject. And again, this is all in that book. Go get it today. Sukadeva Goswami introduces the subject of Puranic cosmology. He's responding to, this is in the 16th chapter where the subject's brought up, responding to Parikshit Maharaj's questions. Please speak about this because it'll purify the mind. Sukadeva Goswami says, my dear king, you got to remember, there is no limit to the expansions of the Supreme Personality of God. There's no limit to the material energy, his material energy. No one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. However you approach it. And then in the purport, Prabhupada says, the limits of the expansions of Govinda cannot be estimated by anyone. So, what are you going to do? It's interesting. Let's examine it. But so at the end of the day, just be satisfied with the information obtainable from Vedic sources as spoken by, Sukadeva Goswami, these other great sages. There's something there to plumb. What it may be, it's part of the adventure. Many books have been written on this. I highly also recommend Sariputa's Vedic Cosmography. Of course, Mysteries is very intriguing. Mysteries of the Sacred Universe. All right, so he's just telling us, just be satisfied, enjoy the trip. He's not telling us to get a lobotomy. He's not telling us to get 6 marching points and forget the rest. Hear what you want to hear and disregard the rest. He's saying just be satisfied with this, enter into this, and enjoy the ride. So with that, to infinity and beyond. So I think I'll end it there. I lost track of my time. Hopefully I'm reasonably on schedule here. How are we doing?
Very much. Actually, you're dead on time, which
Okay.
there's lots of cheers going around. I was to congratulate you on that. Thank
Well,
you.
being on time is my mission at the BIHS.
Unfortunately, we don't have time to get into further discussion, but I think it's extremely important what you pointed out, that the issue of resolving our understanding of the Puranic description of the universe isn't something that is a discussion between ourselves and modern science, but rather there is an ancient discussion on resolving the world of our experience with the reality that may be the actuality of the cosmos. So thank you very much for presenting that. We will move on now to our next speaker. Oh, I've just lost my... Oh, I will mention one thing. Sthitadhi, I tried to scan that QR code, And although it took me to Amazon, it didn't show me the publication. So maybe that's
Hmm.
something to look into and make sure that
That's an
it's,
old code, maybe it expired. But
yeah.
type in the title, Vedic Cosmography in a Modern Context and Bhaktivedanta Institute. It should bring you there. It's the whole book is available for today and any day. And of course, there'll be more coming in when we get the print edition, and we'll let everybody know. Sorry about that. It was a code we put together. Maybe it expired.